Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you're an introvert like me learning foreign languages but don't know how to start speaking, you found the right video. Los geht's! My name is Dustin. I'm an IT project manager from Germany, and on this channel we create content that helps us to be more productive, to learn new things, especially languages, and to live a happier and more fulfilling life. Today we're going to talk about my approach of learning a foreign language, and especially to get to the point of your first time speaking in a foreign language. So first of all, some words about me to bring everything into the right perspective. So, I'm an introvert, which means that it costs me willpower and energy to spend time with other people. I can definitely enjoy it, but to regain my energy, I need to spend some time alone. Further, I failed completely with French at school, but now I'm pretty decent in that language, and I made already a video about that, and I will link it somewhere here. Also, I'm currently learning Italian, which is my fourth language by now, and I also made a video about that, and I will link it here. So I learned French and Italian so far exclusively from home, and I'm making quite some decent progress. So I found the right way for me, which means that I can replicate this way to any other language I want to learn. There are of course many approaches out there, like for example also to speak from day one. But I do it a bit differently, and also it would kind of freak me out to speak from day one, even though that many people had quite some success using that method. So probably in future I will try it out at some point. So first of all, we need to build comprehension. That means reading and listening. So we need to consume massive amounts of comprehensible and compelling input, following the theory of Stephen Krashen. This way, the language will wash over our brain and we will build our comprehension. I already did a video about that and I will link it here. In short, comprehensible input is input at the right level for you to be understood, and compelling input means that it's interesting to you in specific. I'm using an app called Link for that matter, which makes your progress visible and also saves your vocabulary. Further, you can import many sources, many different sources like YouTube, Netflix, blog posts, news, and so on and so on. Further, there's pre-made content within Link, and the mini stories are, especially at the beginning, really worth it. Once I've read through all the mini stories and have repeatedly listened to them like 10 times each, while also consuming other content, I slowly start to prepare myself for my first speaking lesson. To do that, you can also use other apps in parallel, like for example Speakly. However, it isn't mandatory to do that, but probably that would be a nice experiment for the future, to just use Speakly to learn a language and then to see how far I get in terms of speaking and comprehension. Next step is to prepare your first speaking session. By now, you should be able to understand fairly well a lot of things in your target language. You don't need to be able to read a full-blown novel yet, but easy, short written texts in your target language should work out. Next, you should prepare an introduction script. So I've created one for Italian, for example, and I will show it to you. Mi chiamo Dustin. My name is Dustin. Ho 31 anni. I'm 31 years old. Sono capo, projetto informatico. I'm a project manager. Lavoro dal mio ufficio a casa dal 2018. I work from home in the home office since 2018. Sono tedesco e vivo a Düsseldorf. I'm German and I live in Düsseldorf. Questa è una città vicino al confine olandese e belga. That's a city close to the borders of Belgium and the Netherlands. I miei hobbies sono imparare le lingue, il fitness, le escursioni, viaggiare, etc. My hobbies are fitness, YouTube, learning languages, and so on and so on. E ho appena iniziato il mio canale YouTube. And I just started my own YouTube channel. Voglio imparare l'italiano perché abbiamo alcuni amici che vivono in Parma e anche l'italiano è una bella lingua. So, talk about why you want to learn your target language. Imparo l'italiano da 1 anno e mezzo. I'm learning Italian for 1.5 years now. So, talk about how long you are already learning your target language. Inoltre, ho appena iniziato a parlare l'italiano. So talk about for how long you are already speaking your target language. L'anno scorso eravamo in vacanza vicino a Sorrento. Last year we spent our holidays in a place next to Sorrento. That's a city at the Amalfi Coast in Italy. So talk about something that you have done, some vacation stuff or something that you could talk about. To create that kind of introduction script, you can use a translator. I can highly recommend DeepL for languages that are mostly European. And if those are not available, you can just use Google Translate. But I think DeepL has the better translations. After you have created your script, repeat it a few times, but don't drive yourself crazy on it. You don't need to be able to speak it perfectly, and you don't need to know it by heart. You will see later why. Next step is to prepare a setup. You should have a microphone and a webcam ready. The most important thing about finding a teacher is that you find someone who is sympathetic to you, because you will probably spend a lot of time going forward with that person. So it becomes kind of like a friend if you repeatedly do your lessons with that person. The price range is from €4 to €70, I think, or even more per hour. So make sure to find a price that's suitable for you and that allows you to take lessons on a weekly basis. So like one lesson on a weekly basis. So calculate that, multiply it by 4, and then see if you can afford that each month. If that's too expensive, you can also use a tandem partner and do a language exchange, of course. Make sure that you have before and after your session still 15 minutes left, that you're not in a hurry when the session approaches. Make yourself ready. Open the script you have prepared for yourself on your screen and put it to the right or to the left. You could also use it in written form, for example. And keep it open while you have your first session. If you have forgotten stuff, you can also read it while the session has already begun. Don't worry too much about that and about reading, because it will stick after a few sessions anyway. Then do your first session and use the script as an anchor to get into the conversation. Nobody expects from you that you're not making errors. If there are corrections for the script from your teacher, then refine it. By first having consumed a lot of comprehensible input, you will be able to understand a lot. Also, it is fine to ask the teacher to speak a bit slower. If you can't come up with the right grammar, don't worry, that's normal at the beginning. We start out with caveman speech, so we just need to know the right words and to chain them together. Or not even the right words. But we also have our hands and our gesture and our mimic, so don't worry too much about that. It's just about communicating. It's about getting a message across. It's not about the form yet. Not at all. You can also have a translator open at the side to quickly look single words up that you don't know. But you should avoid to put in whole sentences, of course. Also, you won't have time for that normally during a session. But single words, that's okay. You can also ask your teacher and use single words in English, for example. But I would try to not do that. You can really know if it's a good teacher when he or she tries to keep you in your target language and is trying to get you to explaining stuff after the session is done. Pat yourself on your shoulder. What you have just done has been the most difficult steps of all. First session can be so terrifying and frightening. I know that feeling too good. Now it gets only easier, and the more you speak your target language, the more normal it feels. Also, if you have a barrier before your first session, remind yourself that you can't lose anything. Nothing can happen. Nobody will laugh at you. So yeah, you can only win. Then plan speaking sessions regularly. Try to aim for once a week ideally. You can do more, of course, but it's better to have a consistent routine and to be able to keep it up over the long run than to do lots over the short amount of time and then to fall back and stop doing it at all. Try to get up to 1 hour lessons. Those are cheaper in comparison, and you have more time to immerse into the language. Also, once you have found a teacher that is sympathetic to you and you have done some sessions, the less it will feel like a chore to do something like that, and the more you will look forward to your lessons. For example, with learning French, I found someone who is really cool, and we're having such nice conversations about difficult and complex topics, and I'm always looking forward to our sessions. Got so many more things to say about this topic, but this should be enough as a first step. If you want to have, for example, more information on what to do after a lesson and how to make sure that the things you have talked about during the speaking session sticks better, then let me know in the comments. If you want to know how I learned French using that method and also what my current progress with Italian is, I already made videos about that. I will link them here. So make sure to leave me a like and a subscription to the channel, and to not miss anything going forward, activate the notification bell. Thank you very much for watching, and see you the next time.